Hi everyone, welcome to Fireside Forge. I'm your host, Tanglecolors, and with me today we have Sarah, Jamm Dodger, and Crankycorvid, otherwise known as Yonder. The topic for today's podcast is music. I think we were talking about soundtracks for our favorite media, but also our taste in music in general, I think was the topic. So, anyone want to start?
I like heavy metal with screaming.
Wow! Thank you, that was beautiful.
Gosh, like, I'll dig through like my Spotify and junk, and it'll give me like all this new music or whatever, like in my discovery or something. And then like the one song it recommends to me after like is this random like cyberpunk track or whatever, and it's like got the heavy metal and a little bit of the in it or whatever.
Like screamo?
And I'm like, yeah, this is the stuff that I like. I think I actually fell asleep to heavy rock once.
Wow, hardcore.
Sorry, the reputation I'm building for myself here is amazing.
Yeah, I love it. Honestly, I'm here for it. Yeah. I don't know if I like heavy rock, but I like J-rock a lot, so. Because I'm weeb.
There's J-rock too?
Yeah.
Like, what is J... I'm trying to wrap my mind around it, because there's like... I understand like J-pop and K-pop. They're basically the same thing as pop, just different language. It's like, I'm trying to think of like, when I think of J-rock, are we talking like anime opening type stuff, or?
I mean, like, most of the songs I listen to that are J-rock are anime openings, but I'm pretty sure it's like a genre beyond that, but...
Well, no, I mean, I figure that's just like, that's my only way of being able to understand the concept of it, I guess.
I think the only like heavy rock song that I've ever actually listened to and liked was a anime opening. So it was it was a Haikyuu opening.
Oh yeah, Vinland Saga has a it's not like all heavy metal, but it's got like a little bit of the screamo in it, and then it sounds like your more typical like, what's it called, in J-rock whatever opening. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that one's pretty decent.
Yeah, I love anime openings. Are like that was my childhood music taste right there. It was just anime openings. They're so great.
Yeah, I'll be so good.
Yee.
I'll be real. A lot of them sound the same to me.
I feel like they can get like that.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't know how to speak to kids. I'm sorry.
Bruh.
Like,
no, I get it.
For the flower in the sky.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, wrong.
Oh my gosh. I like it though. It's weirdly inspiring. Like you can like jump and punch the sun or something, like, you know?
Workout music, yeah.
Like therapy expensive, J-rock free. Haikyuu has a really good soundtrack, honestly. I think it's probably like normally when I watch anime, there are like a couple openings that I don't like, but I'm pretty sure I liked every opening and ending song for Haikyuu.
I'm trying to think if there's any like TV shows outside of anime that have like intro music that I even pay attention to.
That's
true. Because a lot of shows have like openings you mostly skip.
Yeah.
The one opening I remember that's good, not necessarily for the music, but more so for the visuals, I think would be the Daredevil opening.
Yes.
That one's pretty good.
I love the music in the Daredevil opening though. Like, I don't know, there's something about it. It's kind of haunting. I play it on the piano all the time. Like, I really love it.
Bro, nice. We stand Matt Murdock in this house.
What genre is the opening song? I haven't seen Daredevil, so I don't know.
It's just kind of like orchestral.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's like no lyrics to it or anything. But
yeah, it's kind of like I wouldn't say it's your typical, but it's like typical, not typical, but kind of typical like movie score type stuff.
And where it's thudding heartbeat. Like, it's just like
Well, yeah, because like Matt Murdock's whole thing is that he like can't see, and then you have like all these visuals of like the blood kind of like. I mean, it's kind of like blood, but it's kind of not like blood, kind of dripping over like all the different. Like, there's like a building in New York. There's like a Statue of Liberty or something. It's been so long. And then that plus like the kind of more haunting music just kind of like helps drill in like the mood of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, like I can't remember any of the music from the show itself. I think the only non-animated soundtrack that I remember and went back to, I think the two movies was Annihilation, and there's actually one track in it that I had heard prior to the movie, which was pretty cool. Because I basically was watching the movie and went, I know that song! I know more than you! And then the other one was the Joker has a really iconic motif track, I would say. I don't think any of you guys saw that one, but yeah, the soundtrack for that movie stuck with me about.
The newer Joker?
Yeah.
I love
The one that's been
that.
memed to all heck.
Yeah, the one's been memed all heck. But yeah, the soundtrack from that one is haunting.
Mind blowing. Like, I listen to it and get flashbacks from the movie so vividly. It was so good.
Yeah.
I like that score won awards, and like, it should have. If it
Oh
didn't.
yeah, it should have. Honestly, I don't think that's a movie that you can watch more than once. At least for me, I couldn't foresee myself like wanting to watch it again. But at the same time, like, it's a movie you'll never forget, and I don't regret watching it. But I would say it's kind of similar to when people say like you watch Grave of the Fireflies once and that's it. I haven't seen that movie yet, and I need to one of these days. But I imagine it's a similar feeling where it's like it sticks with you, and you'll never forget it. And it's like impactful, and you can say like, "Oh, this is amazing," but like you wouldn't want to like watch it again.
Is that the movie with the children killing each other? Or is that a different
I don't
one?
know. I haven't watched it.
The title sounds familiar to me. But I don't know.
Isn't that like men and mice or something? Mice and
Of Mice and Men? I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm so confused.
I don't know. I probably am thinking of something else entirely. I'm trying to think of like cartoons that have like Western animation that has like good soundtracks, but honestly,
Can I say SpongeBob? Honestly,
it do be iconic though.
No, like it's not like serious or whatever, but like there's so many like the music that plays with something like it's like the bum bum ba da ba. I'm trying to like enunciate all these weird like tracks. It's like the one where he's like in the store and it kind of sounds like shopping music or whatever. I remember when I heard that track and I was like, I'm gonna listen to this on my downtime. I think I spent like a half hour trying to find it. But I had no idea what to type in, just like SpongeBob music or something.
I think a lot of the music they used in that show was stock actually, or like stuff that was old enough that it was royalty free, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because I like heard the music somewhere else and I was like, wait, that's SpongeBob music. How are they doing that? But
I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob, so I have never seen it.
really?
What?
Fun fact, yeah, I was not allowed to watch it growing up.
Yeah, that's fair. I would say if you ever get around to watching it, just watch everything up to when the first SpongeBob movie came out.
Like, it's
All
actually
that is
really
honestly
funny.
gold.
Yeah, it's good.
I actually saw a video the other day where it had like a what was it? What was it? It was a video compilation where they showed each meme that had come from every episode. It's like every single episode of SpongeBob through, I think it was through seasons 1 and 3, has been a meme. And
Really?
then as you're watching it, like I see people in the comments of the video going, "Hey, this is actually not covering all the memes though. This is only covering some of them, and this is from every episode." Like the show, at its conception, was that good.
Yeah. Gosh, it's so funny. Pizza delivery is like the GOAT, man.
Oh, it is the good.
It was such a good episode.
Krusty Krab pizza.
For you.
You and
Rip headphone users. I love that though.
I have no shame. I have to fill in the crackhead.
Yeah, while Philip isn't here. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, my throat hated that though. I'm not gonna do that again.
I think Star vs. the Forces of Evil has a really good intro. I like that intro. I have mixed feelings about the show itself, but the intro is pretty good.
I have unfortunately not seen it yet. And then I heard the ending was so weird, so like I didn't bother to pick it up. I'm like, oh, the ending's bad. I'm just not gonna bother.
I literally stopped watching it, I think maybe like halfway through. Particularly because of the relationship drama. Because it's very clear like what pairing is going to be endgame. So I'm like, I really don't see a point in wasting several episodes that could have been used for plot on this. But okay. But also the world building is broken. Like,
rip.
Like they're like trying to do like a prejudice allegory, but it is not done well. So it just kind of comes off as like kind of preachy, and I'm like, nope, bye. But like the first season, like when they were just focusing on Star being a crackhead as a character, I was like, those were good episodes.
That does sound fun. Gravity Falls also has a pretty good intro.
Oh yeah, Gravity Falls. Yeah, and the animation too.
There's like the kazoo like cover of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
Oh man, Gravity Falls. I haven't seen the last season, but I already saw the last episode, so I know what happens.
Oh.
Not really sure how that happened. But...
I've seen all of Gravity Falls up to the very last episode.
Oh, okay. So you're like the invert, like kind of like the inverse of me.
I don't know. I just never watched the last one.
Yeah. Sometimes I just avoid watching the last episode of things. Like I haven't watched the last episode of Adventure Time because I'm just afraid of it ending. So I just like haven't watched the last episode. The music in Adventure Time is so weird, but it's so delightful. Like, I love it. It's just so freaking weird.
I remember, I think, okay, I was gonna say, I don't know how many of you like have watched much of the show, but I remember, like, I was into Steven Universe for the first 2 or 3 seasons, I think it was, and the music has, like, this kind of whimsical, kind of artificial kind of sound to it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good. I know that, like, nowadays Steven Universe is like that, like, you either like it or you hate it, or, like, you know, it's kind of good or it's kind of bad or whatever. But I do have some pretty fond memories of those first couple seasons, because, like, that slice of life stuff, dude, it was good.
I'm surprised. You don't seem like the type of person who would like slice of life.
I know. I'm like the person who's like, oh, I want the big, punchy in the face and the world ending and all that junk.
Yeah.
But no, my best friend was like super into the show a couple years back. Right as season 2 was wrapping up, and she absolutely dragged me into the show, and I don't know what it was about it. I just ended up really liking the slice of life stuff to the point where I'm like, I like the slice of life stuff more than I like the plot stuff actually. Which is such an inverse to my taste. But yeah, basically me and my friend both ended up hopping off the show eventually just because we were like, we want the slice of life stuff back.
Yeah.
And you like the plot stuff.
I think I watched the first couple episodes. I think I dropped it. I watched the first couple episodes of it, like when it first came out, and then I kind of like lost interest over time. But Giant Woman, that song, that's a bop right there. Such a bop.
Yeah. Of course that'd be a bop for you.
What does that mean?
I will not explain.
Okay.
It just seems on brand.
That's fair. I think, okay, like when you were mentioning the music though for Steven Universe, Rebecca Sugar did a lot of music for Adventure Time actually. So it's pretty interesting that, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like the sort of the segue kind of sort of thing, because there's a bit of overlap in the way how Steven Universe is run and the way how Adventure Time is run.
Yeah.
I know there's like different people involved in the different shows and they have like different tones and junk. But they still have like, I don't know, there's definitely a little bit of overlap in the way how the shows are, both from like their tone, because like, what's it called? Adventure Time kind of had that same thing where it started off as very like, I wouldn't say, it wasn't slice of life, it was very like, you know.
Oh, where did Craig go? Honey.
We lost Craig.
Honey!
Craig!
Oh no.
Craig!
It says that he
gets to edit individual audio this time.
Oh, rips it. Alright, let me see if I can get him to come back. Craig, honey. It's time to record.
It's time for your daily party.
I think it's
Working his duty.
Yeah, honestly. I think it might be an issue with like whatever is hosting Craig or whatever. Like I don't think it's a Alright, Craig, come on. Oh.
Now recording.
Okay.
There's great.
Get back. All right. Let me get back to my point. Where was I?
Okay.
It was. Hold on, I need to get into the zone. We were talking about Adventure Time and Steven Universe. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, there's like that overlap both in like the tone and all that. But Adventure Time, like, it has that same kind of going from these more lighthearted adventures up to like then it goes into. I don't know. I don't actually watch the show in full. I've just seen like a bunch of clips.
No, you're right. It goes from being more like crackheaded and whimsical to like adding more heavy plot elements. Like the crackheadedness is still there, I think, more than Steven Universe probably, but like yeah, it does get more serious as the plot progresses. Mm-hmm. So you're totally right. Like
and I guess if I choose between like Adventure Time and Steven Universe, from what I've seen, I feel like Adventure Time is kind of more my brand just because of the crackheaded aspect of it.
Yeah, it is a time.
Yeah. I need to sit down and actually watch the whole thing.
I really like it. I think it's great. I love it. Still haven't watched the last episode, but I think it's great.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Also, like, Marceline's songs are all really good. Like, they're just good. But all of her songs are really sad, too, which I'm vibing with it, but yeah.
The sad emo vampire.
Yeah. Also, the episode in which she was introduced, there's a song called the House Hunting Song, and that song also slaps. It's very good.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I, posted the link to that in the chat that we were in, because I was like, guys, I'm rewatching Adventure Time, this song is so good! But, yeah, oh, man. I wanted to, do a comic with the gender bend characters, Fiona and Cake, and do that song with Marsha Lee because I am incurable, but yeah, I'll get to it eventually.
I want to see it.
Oh yeah, you can watch the gender bend episodes because I really like those episodes. They're so freaking good.
That's like canon.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think Natasha Allegri was one of the storyboarders for Adventure Time. And she just kind of, as far as I know, one day she was just like, I'm just going to draw a gender bend Finn and Jake. And, it caught on really fast on Tumblr to the point where the show creators were like, eyes? So, they added it. But it wasn't an original part of the series as far as I know.
That's so good.
I'm like, yes, we love to see it. And I, had the hugest crush on Marsha Lee as a kid. Whoop.
That's great. I love that for you.
Yep, I have old DeviantArt drawings of him that I will never show anyone, but it's fine. They're just terrible, they're just bad.
Now.
Huh?
You gotta show us now.
I'll pass.
They're just they're not, they're just terrible drawings, they're just not good drawings. Also, I think I paired my self-insert OC with him, and I have some amount of shame. No. It's.
Are we going there?
Yeah. Yikes. Anyway, diverting the conversation to something else now. Yeah. I think also, Ed and Eddie has a really, I don't know. It has a really iconic soundtrack, I think. I remember it's all this, funky jazz music.
Yeah. I still need to sit down and actually watch the show because it's definitely my brand of freaking nonsense and junk.
Oh, it's very crackheaded.
It is very crackheaded, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
My experience with it has been, people making edits with the sound effects rather than, the soundtrack itself.
Really?
Well, yeah, because I don't hear people, I don't see people, praising, the soundtrack or posting, the music from it. I just see people posting, the sound effects and adding and making, edits when they have, I think probably one of my favorites was, what was it? It was a God of War edits where, Kratos is fighting some other guy, and it's all these, edit and edit sound effects.
No! I love that, though.
It's like you see the big serious Greek god dude fighting this Norse guy, and then you hear just a train sound effect.
Yeah, that was the old Cartoon Network lineup, like Camp Lazlo, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Powerpuff Girls, like stuff like that.
Apparently people hate Camp Lazlo?
What? How are you hating on Camp Lazlo? I love Camp
I have no
Lazlo.
idea. People think it's annoying or something. I, to be fair, I have like very vague memories of Camp Lazlo. I was like, I don't know, when it was out. But I remember liking it. Like, I remember it was stupid. I don't remember hating it. I remember at least enjoying like dumb stuff.
I remember doodling Lazlo.
It's like weird monkey goes to summer camp and there's a moose counselor.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of animal kids going to summer camp. I think Lazlo is the main character. I think he's supposed to be a spider monkey, and then his friend, he has two friends, Clam and Raj, I think. And Clam is a rhino, and Raj is an elephant, I think. I don't know why I remember that. I literally, like, unlocked a third eye memory. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Oh, speaking of Cartoon Network, you know what has a really good opening soundtrack?
What?
Chowder.
Chowder! I forgot about Chowder. My mom hated Chowder. Like, she hated that I watched it when I was growing up.
Chowder is, like, actually a really good show.
It's so funny. Like, you don't realize... Like, I didn't realize how funny it was until I, like, went back and watched some of the clips. I'm like, this is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, they, I don't know who did it, but a bunch of animators went together and reanimated the Christmas special.
Really?
And it's my favorite. Yeah, it's great.
That's so blessed.
I'll have to dig it up and find it, but it's, like, it's great.
I love that. We love to see it. Yeah. Oh, speaking of, you mentioned video game soundtracks before we started the podcast, and I just have to go off about frickin' Battle Revolution because it has such a good soundtrack. Like, it has no right to slap as hard as it does. Man. Like, Sunny Park Coliseum, let's go.
The spin-off games have such good music despite just being these random spin-off titles. Like, if there's one franchise that will get me to hum along with the music more than any other, it's going to be Pokemon, maybe Zelda.
Ooh, Zelda.
It's mostly Pokemon. Pokemon is like, you put Pokemon music on, I'm sorry, you're going to hear me humming along whether you like it or not.
Oh, Mystery Dungeon has a really good soundtrack.
Yeah, I know!
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Mystery Dungeon is good. Yes, I know, I'm not
I'm sorry, I'm just, like, pointing it out.
My favorite video game score is the Professor Layton game.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, Citron had a Professor... Well, actually, my mom had a Professor Layton phase, and then Citron had a Professor Layton phase. But I watched over their shoulder as they played the games, and they're cute games. I really like them.
My Professor Layton phase was started by Jay, and
Really?
it hasn't ended yet.
No, you're valid. You're totally valid for that.
like, what even is the gameplay of Professor Layton? Because, like, I'm just aware that it's man with a hat. That is literally the extent of my knowledge.
So, it's a Japanese game. It's been translated into English, or at least, I played the American version of it, so it's translated into English. But he is a professor of archaeology at a university, but he is also, like, a puzzle solver and detective. So you kind of go through the games, you're like another character there, and you solve puzzles to solve like the mysteries. And when I was little, I wanted to be a detective, so like 100% up my alley. I absolutely loved it.
That's cute. You want to be a
So
detective?
Is it like a point and click, or you do like crosswords? Like I guess my question is more of like, what is the gameplay itself?
It's like, it's hard to explain. It's like, it's a lot of dialogue. So you would go through, it's like a lot of dialogue scenes where there'll be like cutscene videos, and then you can click to travel through towns, and then you click on things to find coins and find puzzles, and then you have to solve the puzzles. And they're not like crossword puzzles, they're kind of like word riddles sometimes, or like you have to get this ball to this exit, but there's a ton of blocks in the way and you have to rearrange the blocks, or yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Sounds like a mix of like point and click with like a small puzzle involvement and junk. There's a game series that I played that's a little bit similar to that aspect. It's called Zero Escape, which if I can remember, it does have a pretty decent soundtrack as well. I haven't listened to that in ages though. Basically, Zero Escape. I've only played the first 2 games because there's a trilogy of them, and the one that I played more extensively was Virtue's Last Reward, and that one you have like different options you can choose and whatnot. But when you go into a you have to solve these specific puzzle rooms in order to advance the story. I'm blanking on the exact mechanics of it all, but these puzzles can range from like it was DS based. So there's like some of them that involve like taking notes on like how many like boats there were and on like a picture or something, and then see how that correlates to another thing in the room. Kind of different things like that. So it's kind of like, I don't know if I would compare it to an escape room, but it's a little bit similar like that. We have these much smaller puzzles, these puzzle rooms that will act as the gameplay center, while you have like the dialogue and the story happening in between those. So it's interesting.
Oh, fun.
It is fun. People die.
I think I cried, like literally sobbed my eyes out after every Professor Layton game. Sometimes there was death, sometimes there was just like, wow, this is emotional.
Yeah. I found myself like not super drawn to like the more cutesy stuff just overall, but after like kind of diving into like the Ace Attorney meme stuff lately, because they have like those generators and all that now.
Oh my
I
gosh.
kind of want to like take a look at like what the plot of games like that are. I know that like, Ace Attorney isn't like Professor Layton.
They had a crossover though. There was a game and it was a crossover because Citron had that game. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yep.
I did not know that at all.
She's gonna be so mad that we're talking about Professor Layton and Ace Attorney without her, but that's what she gets.
Yeah. But going back to what we were discussing it for like 2 seconds, but Mystery Dungeon is definitely like one spin-off series that has like probably some of my favorite music. Like I go into YouTube and I look at like all of the remixes that I'm seeing, and the one spin-off is still getting remixes to this day. Mystery Dungeon. Which games specifically are getting remixes? Pokemon Time of Darkness and Explorers of the Sky. Those ones. It's like, you're telling me, like, which of the games are standing out the most? It's gonna be that... This is starting to go into, like, me getting peeved about Mystery Dungeon stuff, because I am obsessed with that monsters.
You're valid. Go off.
But it's just really interesting to me to see, like, this specific franchise, this specific spin-off of Pokemon getting all these remixes, and then this specific, how would you explain it? Because there was 4 or 5 Mystery Dungeon games. No, 4. There's 4 main Mystery Dungeon games. The second installment is the one that still, to this day, gets a ton of remixes. Sometimes the stuff from the first one. I don't think I've seen any remixes from the 4th game. Maybe 1 or 2, and then maybe 1 or 2 from the 3rd game. Maybe it's just my bias, because I'm a huge fan of Time, Darkness, and Sky. But
Same.
I don't know. It's just interesting to see like what is getting remixes and what isn't. Like what really sticks in people's minds.
Yeah.
Because the dude who did the music for the first 2 games, or rather, like the stuff from those games are the stuff that I consider kind of like the peak Pokemon Mystery Dungeon music. After the 2nd game, I don't know what he did. He like left or did something, and he started working on other music or whatever. They were actually trying to get that same composer to come back for the remake of the first Mystery Dungeon game. And I'm not entirely sure why. I guess he just said he was just trying to move on and do other stuff. He actually he said, no, I don't want to remaster the music. You guys do it. I miss the music from the old Mystery Dungeon games. Maybe it's just because I, again, like have that bias for those particular need to get on like DS or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a lot pickier about stuff I like the more recent games.
Yeah, I remember. I think when I had Sky, when I unlocked the like music box thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just leave that on and just like play a song like all night. It was crazy. Yeah,
Same.
it's just really good music.
Yeah, I'm so glad they added that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't mean to be old TM, but I feel like Mystery Dungeon games have kind of gone downhill. Not gonna lie.
Oh no, they have. Time in Darkness was peak, or Sky was peak, I should say. GTI was horrendous.
Yeah.
Super Dungeon was definitely stepping in the right direction, but there's some stuff that I wasn't fond of, both narratively and world building wise.
Yeah.
Because they built up this whole thing where like, oh, we have like different continents, and each of the different continents is like literally the continent from the previous games. So I'm just thinking, oh, are we gonna be able to like have like different adventures on each of the continents, or are we gonna have like, you know, post story where like we have like a small little adventure on each of them? And it's like, nope, literally, they're just different hubs.
Oh yeah.
And then they cameo old characters occasionally. I'm like, okay, this is fine, I guess. Yeah.
I also hate that they switched from like pixel art to 3D models. Like I get why they did it, but I'm like, it was such like an iconic part of like the Mystery Dungeon like aesthetic was the pixel art, you know?
Well, the discussion of like Pokemon's transition to 3D is like a whole other animal, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Because like,
I don't know.
because like, well, yeah, because you dig into like how it affects the flow of the game development. Because you're not just dealing with sprites anymore. You're dealing with things that have to be modeled, rigged, and animated, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, actually, one of my issues with the remake for the first Mystery Dungeon game, which was done in 3D, is that the rigs were too simple, and there's a ton of clipping that goes on, even in cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is unfortunate. So the game is still pretty decent. They have like the I believe there were the 3D models from X and Y or something like that. But the rigs were so like oversimplified that there's like tons of clipping going on.
Yep. And I feel like because of that, like they're trying to use the old tile system for movement too, and because a lot of the like, especially like second and third evolutions of Pokemon are really big, it also contributes to the clipping issue because they're trying to like keep the tile system, which is too small for these models, and like it's just a whole mess.
Oh gosh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. It's funny because I was I distinctly remember when I was playing the game that I had like a Rayquaza on my team for whatever reason. Like the Rayquaza literally covered like a third of the screen. I could almost never see the whole thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
And I'm thinking, okay, something's wrong with the scale here. They need to do something to adjust this. The scale's not too bad though. And they have a lot of really pretty extra maps on some of the dungeons.
Yeah, the dungeons actually look a lot better because they're able to like, I don't know, flesh them out more with 3D models, to be honest. That's the one thing I didn't have a complaint about, is that the dungeons look more organic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It looks so much better.
Yeah.
And that was one issue that I had with, I think it was Gates to Infinity. I found most of the dungeon layouts to not be very iconic. Maybe, again, it's just me kind of fixating on the sprite and the pixel stuff from the original games.
Yeah.
But I always found those a lot more recognizable, a lot more, they stood out to me. Like, you go into Hidden Land, and it's like this super bright green that, like, to me, it's like, oh, it's like super bright green because it's like this fantasy world almost. So, of course, it's going to be, like, super vibrant and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess with the pixel stuff, it just feels like it's so much more deliberate.
Yeah. Like, I think for the main series games, I don't necessarily think the jump to 3D was a bad idea, but I don't know, for Mystery Dungeon, that might not have been the move, not gonna lie.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, even with the main series games, like, I have a lot of issues with the way that they chose to do the 3D models. Like, I think it's the lighting, actually, and not the models themselves, but the environments look kind of, like, dry, and the Pokemon look very, like, plastic, if that makes sense, or, like, flat.
No, that makes sense. There's a good friend of mine, we have this debate a lot, because she always says that, like, oh, the Pokemon models in 3D look a lot paler and stuff.
Yeah.
I actually kind of dug into it, because it's an interesting comparison to make, because there actually are a few models that are actually brighter in 3D. I actually did some digging, and Blaziken specifically was the example that I was digging into. was actually paler in the sprite form, but actually brighter in 3D.
Really? Okay.
Which is really interesting. And I was doing a little bit more digging, and I suspect that the reason why the models look a little more washed out is so that they would be able to kind of use that universal lighting for like the day, night, and all those different kind of effects that you get in different, I want to say dungeons. We're talking about a different game now. In different like arenas and stuff. But that being said, I think they could do so much more with making the renderer look more artistic and unique, I guess. Because like what's that one game? Jet Set Radio, if you've seen that one, like the cell shading on that. Actually, here's a better example. That's kind of got a similar look to it. Not Jet Set Radio, but Wind Waker. There we go.
Wind Waker. Yeah.
Where still looks very cartoony, but the art style is more deliberate. The way how the Pokemon shading looks, it's not terrible. I mean, I never see any huge problem with it, except for maybe like the overall environment design for like the wild areas and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is really boring to look at.
Yeah.
But where was I going with this? I was going somewhere with that, and the thought completely ran away.
Oh no.
I was talking about texturing.
Do you think it's the textures, maybe? I don't know. It just bothers me because it's really boring, and like when I look back at like even older 3D games like Battle Revo, where it's like they didn't have as many resources, but the Pokemon still look like kind of vibrant and like they're present in space. Like I'm just like, y'all could have done a little better.
For the most part, yeah. I was looking at Starmie's Battle Revolution sprite, and it's actually really ugly.
Oh really?
Yeah, Starmie has like this really gross like highlighter yellow and bright neon pink, and it has like this musky like body. I'm like, okay, Starmie actually looks ugly in Battle Revolution, not gonna lie.
That's fair.
No, but like overall, like people bring up this conversation, bring up this point all the time, where like Battle Revolution and like Pokemon Coliseum and junk, you know, it's like this is what 3D Pokemon should look like and that kind of thing. And
yeah.
I go, overall, I agree with you, but also please look at Starmie.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's like, oh god.
Yeah. I guess we can move on to like what people's personal taste in music is. I'm kind of curious. I kind of know what Jan's is already, but
Jammany, you haven't talked much. What's your favorite music?
My favorite music?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, like your favorite genre in John.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I don't really have a favorite genre. I feel like all of my music taste is like covers of really specific songs.
Really?
But they're not from any one thing. Like, I don't know.
What's the song that you've been listening to like recently?
Whatever I'm playing on the piano.
Oh, you play piano?
Yeah, I've actually played piano for 13 years now.
That's cool.
Are we just knowing this?
Lore.
Super Jammany lore.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I can kind of gauge what kind of music I like, is if I can play it on the piano, because I like to play a lot of music by ear.
Okay.
That's interesting.
But like, music I like to listen to, I guess. Okay. Minecraft music is really nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's really relaxing.
Yeah. Oh, that is valid. That's a valid choice right there.
It does help set the mood too.
Some of my favorite soundtracks in the Minecraft soundtrack, the 4 original Nether soundtrack, specifically Dead Voxel, is my personal favorite out of those. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you maybe I'm not making the right comparison here, but have you ever taken a look at the music from Terraria and I think it's Starbound?
Terraria and what?
Starbound, I think it's called.
Starbound. I'm familiar with neither of those.
Really?
Okay, never mind.
Terraria is kind of like Minecraft, but
yeah,
kind of not.
It's basically 2D Minecraft, which is why I was curious if you'd happen to hear anything from it.
Yeah, I know Sit plays Terraria sometimes.
I could never get
Yeah.
into those.
Yeah, I know what Cherry is. I just see it from a distance. I've never gotten into it.
That's fair.
Yeah, basically just covers. I remember when I was younger, like, when I was younger, basically just my whole music taste was whatever covers from whatever fandoms. Like, my music could range from My Little Pony fan covers to Five Nights at Freddy's fan covers to music from Portal to music from Minecraft, whatever I could find.
Did you ever listen to like what was his name? Like the stuff that like Captain Sparkles did, like the Minecraft music?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Minecraft.
Take Back the Night.
That was such a
The
big
slap.
part of it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I still listen to that music.
I was just listening to covers the other day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I know
Yeah.
Sit listens to a lot of, or she used to, I don't know if she still does, she listened to a lot of FNAF, like, fan music.
Yes.
There's,
Oh,
I forget which one, it's like, I think it's called, like, Die in a Fire. That one actually kind of slaps. I like that one.
Is that
Oh,
Living
yeah.
Tombstone?
I don't know.
It is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Of course you know
Five
that.
Nights at Freddy's 3.
Yeah, okay, I didn't even know.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think the what's it called? This will kind of segue into like some of my favorite music and stuff. But one of my favorite artists also did FNAF music back in the day. Aviators is the term he goes by now, or that's the name of his channel. And he's done that. He's done some My Little Pony fan music, but nowadays he kind of dabbles into doing fan tracks every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of his music is very it's a mix of like, I guess I want to say alternative rock and synthwave a bit.
Ooh.
And his voice is actually pretty nice. His voice really lends really well to these like melancholy kind of apocalypse, post-apocalypse kind of moods. They're very moody, and I guess moody kind of like encompasses my music taste.
I was gonna say.
When I'm listening to stuff that's more lyrical, it's gonna be ranging on things like I'll give an example. I could just pull up my Spotify and see what I got sitting here. Like, I'm unironically still listening to Paramore.
You're valid.
Paramore's good! It
Yes.
is. Oh, what else? Where's the...
Oh, I just want to
So
also
stuff
say
was-
that Undertale music is really good. Before we forget that.
Right.
Yeah. Undertale music is super good, especially the remix. There's there's a remix that Citron and I used to listen to a lot when we were younger. It was the Temmie theme mixed with Hail Mary Malin, and it honestly goes off a little bit.
Oh my god,
But-
it is hilarious.
It's so good. I love that.
But yeah, stuff like Breaking Benjamin, Seether. That's more when I'm I want my edgy music kind of vibe. And then
Yeah.
there's like, the part of me that also just wants to listen to synth. So I have like a whole synth playlist, which is all like synth wave, which is like your Carpenter Brunch and what's that name? Praeberture? I don't know the I don't know.
I don't.
Yeah.
Wakari
Masan.
Masan, chief.
I was trying to say something, man. Yeah, there's synthwave, rock. I used to be super into movie scores type stuff, like a lot of the time, but I don't know what it was. I just kind of grew out of it because I found it kind of exhausting to listen to because it got super dramatic all the time.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the stuff I listen to is just more on the electronic side. Like you have like your synth, and you have like stuff that's a little more like ambient.
Like, is it
And then there's stuff
EDM
that's, like,
or no?
Huh?
Is it EDM or no?
I don't know if I would consider it EDM. Maybe. I know there's some stuff from No Straight Roads, it got a lot of EDM tracks in it. that I listen
Yeah, that's that thing with the K-pop robots. I think.
to.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
No, you're right. It's basically K-pop robot.
Because I kept seeing it on my dash, and I was like, well, this looks interesting. But
But yeah, I do want to give a quick shout out that my absolute favorite artist, there's Aviators and all that, but my absolute favorite artists, the two of them would be Chevron, which does a bunch of more chill, kind of darker sounding ambient electronic, and then there's El Cuervo, which is very much into the synth kind of chill out music. He's done music for a few video games, but Hotline Miami would probably be the most iconic one. And I will be getting a poster of his at some point. And also, his art is, like, super freaking iconic and inspiring for my own art. So, like, shout out. You're amazing. I love your stuff. I know you're never going to listen to this podcast.
You never know. You never freaking know.
I got, like, your top 0.01%, like, listener on Spotify last year. Notice me.
Notice me, senpai. I think, what have I been listening? I've been listening to a lot of John Bellion, AJR, Bastille. I think that's like the main stuff that I've been listening to because it's all kind of like, it slaps, but it's also kind of depressing, and I'm like, yeah, I vibe. But, yeah, I love John Bellion. His stuff is so good. Like, he just knows how to make a bop. Like, it just like snatches your soul. Like, it's just so freaking good. But, love his stuff. So good. If you're listening, senpai, please notice me. But, yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
I've also noticed that my music taste tends to kind of, well, not my taste, but like what I'm listening to kind of shifts depending on like what story I'm working on. Because like if I'm working on my dinosaur comic thing, I'll listen to a lot of like ambient deserty sounding tracks, like El Cuervo or Zach Hempsey kind of stuff. But then when I'm working on my like sad werewolf story, I'll listen to a lot of Silent Hill soundtrack stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have like, for me, music is like super what I need in order to get into the vibe of what I'm doing. So I need like specific playlists for specific stories.
Yeah, I have a playlist for Sonder and my sad rat story, and then a playlist for Press Start, which is for an esports story, and the music on there is completely different for the most part.
Isn't the Sonder soundtrack, the Sonder playlist, basically just the music from How to Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda?
So yeah, it has How to Train Your Dragon stuff on there, Kung Fu Panda. It has a lot of just like sad music on there, like stuff that like has upbeat, like an upbeat sound, but like when you listen to it, it's actually really sad. But it's a lot of stuff like that. And I think there is some Bastille on there, as far as I know, and a couple AJR songs. Because AJR songs are actually, like, they sound like they're happy, but then when you listen to what they're saying, they are very, very depressing, which is why I like them. But, yeah. But there's a bunch of different music on there, actually. Like, I think there's, out of the two playlists, I think it has the most varied, like, music on it, just because I want to listen to stuff that, like, reminds me of, like, adventure stories, but I also want to listen to stuff that reminds me of, like, all the angst that's in the story, so it's, like, different music, but
yeah, I getcha. Now I'm familiar with John Bellion and Bastille, but I'm not familiar with what was it you said?
AJR. Oh man, dude, I gotta send.
I heard two of their songs, and they were really good. Like the two I've heard, I love.
I love their music so much. It's so good. I don't know what to like categorize them as though. I think they're just pop, right, or something. I don't know. Yeah. They have a lot of good... I like their music because I feel like a lot of pop music tends to just be like, yeah, we're gonna party, we're gonna live it up. But like AJR stuff is like, they have a song about like not wanting to move out of their parents' house because then that area of their life is over, or like not being able to hang out with their friends because they're working on their career all the time, and like about how Netflix helped them cope with like dark times in their life because they used to watch The Office to cope. Like, it's like these really interesting songs that don't sugarcoat how difficult life can be, and I just really like that. Also, they just sound really freaking good. But
that's pretty cool. I was about to say, like, that thing you said, like, oh, pop is all about, like, just living it up, and I'm just like, bro, you listen to Kita, shut up.
K-pop is different. I do listen to a lot of, actually, I can't even say that I listen to a lot of K-pop. I just listen to the same, like, 5 songs over and over again, and, like, occasionally I will add more to my lexicon. Like, I started out with Blackpink, which is probably my favorite K-pop band of all time. Senpai, please notice me. But, yeah. And then, like, a little bit of BTS, and I know I have some, I think there's, like, a Mamamoo song in my playlist, and then there's, like, a Red Velvet song, but for the most part, it's, like, just Blackpink and a little bit of BTS because I'm basic, but it's fine. I love K-pop.
I think the only K-pop I've really dug into is Kita, and then maybe like 2 EXO songs, and that's like it.
I need to listen to those. I was gonna listen to Astro because the one of the guys from the main Prince dude from Rookie Historian is actually a member of Astro, so I'm like, I want to listen to the music.
Wait, back up. An actor in there is a wait.
Yeah, he was a K-pop star first, and he also does acting.
Bruh.
And I'm like, I want to listen to your music, buddy. I also follow him on Instagram. But
Wow.
Shut up.
I don't even know you.
Shut up. Leave me alone. But yeah, K-pop good. K-pop stans can be kind of crazy, but K-pop good. Like,
something else, man.
I know. I'm like, these people are like a united force. Like, they scare me. Yeah. Although, like, fan cams and people's replies, it's just like...
I don't get it. Fan cams make no sense to me.
And the funny thing about it is people who aren't K-pop fans, like, stole it. So, like, you'll see, like, fan cams of, like, cartoon characters and stuff now in replies for no reason. And I'm like, I don't understand how y'all went from hating this to, like, copying them, but it's fine.
I'm so confused.
There was honestly a really good Cassandra one.
I take my 10 songs and go.
Yeah. I mean, okay, to be fair, like, obviously I think the culture, like, the K-pop culture can be kind of unhealthy, but, like, after watching, like, a bunch of, like, Blackpink interviews and videos, like, I get why people, like the singers, because, like, they have, like, even if it's fake, like, it looks like they have a lot of natural chemistry with each other, and they're, like, funny and, like, quirky and adorable. So, like, I get it, but, you know, some of y'all are crazy. Just saying. Please don't kill me.
No kidding.
But, yeah. Citron and I always... There was, like, this one Twitter post where it was like, hey, maybe you wouldn't have, like, gotten sick or whatever if you stand, like, Luna or something. And we, like, that's, like, a meme between us now. It's like, maybe if you stand Luna, and it's the stupidest thing. But...
I will pay you to stop saying out loud, please. Save me.
It's become a part of my vocabulary, unironically. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's honestly Citron's fault. You can blame her for that, but...
I will. I'm gonna come over and deck her in the face.
Yeah, just like...
Stop me because she's a slow slog.
Just jump in her DMs like, I'm gonna kill you. And just don't tell her why. But...
I'll do that like as soon as we're off call.
She's gonna be like, Tangle, why does Yonder want to kill me? And I'm like, you know what you did. Yeah, okay. It do be like that. Sarah, what kind of music do you like to listen to?
A lot.
Wow.
So, growing up, like, I would listen to a lot of Christian pop. So, Toby Mac was my favorite.
Yo.
And country.
Yeah.
Casting Crowns. So those kinds of bands. And then I started playing flute at 9 years old, and so I listened to a lot of, like, flute music as well, just kind of random solos, duets, flute choir stuff, just because, like, flute playing is just so beautiful and it inspires my own playing. And then, like, I have friends who are composers, so I listen to their stuff. I'm not really super into rap or, like, screamo, but a friend of mine has started releasing his own rap albums, and so I've been, like, listening to them to support him, and they're, like, actually really good. Proud of him. And so I like musical music, so like yeah, like no, like musicals, like shows. I know. Like Phantom of the Opera, Gallivant is my go-to. Like, it was a show on ABC. It ran 2 seasons.
Okay.
It's kind of inappropriate. It's so good. The music is amazing.
Have you listened to the Hades soundtrack?
No, I haven't.
You got it. It's good.
Oh, it's so good. I'm gonna have to.
What about Greatest Showman?
I like it because it's a little jazzy.
I mean, I might. I'm not, like, totally against jazz. I don't know. I just tend not to like it. But I was gonna say.
Yeah, and then, like,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, the other thing is, like, I really love film scores because, music, Pirates of the Caribbean, How to Train Your Dragon,
Yep.
Star Wars,
Mm.
Professor Layton. Like, if there's a movie soundtrack, I probably heard it, and I absolutely
Godzilla?
love listening to
Gojira.
Godzilla. Okay.
Gojira!
Godzilla, the King of Monsters, that has a really good soundtrack. I
Yeah.
really like that soundtrack. Like, that was top notch.
I know. I'm like looking at the freaking Kong versus Godzilla trailer, and I'm like, they're not gonna be able to top the soundtrack of King of the Monsters. There's no way.
I was gonna ask Sarah if you'd listen to the Greatest Showman soundtrack, because that's the first musical soundtrack where I was like, oh, this is kind of hitting though. I like this.
Not only have I listened to it, I had memorized the entire soundtrack
You're
at one point.
you're so
And
valid.
I can't tell you how many times I sat in my car listening to This Is Me, like screaming the lyrics and crying because that was the song that I needed in that time of my life.
That's so valid. Love that.
So good.
It's such a good soundtrack. Like I'm not typically a fan of musicals, but I was like, this is on some other stuff. Like y'all really went off.
Oh my gosh. And like what really like hit me and has made me cry multiple times is like watching the cast do read-throughs. Like Hugh Jackman had recently had a skin cancer surgery on his nose. He was not supposed to sing, and then he just couldn't help himself. He tore his stitches.
Oh no.
But that video of like him just like he couldn't contain it and he had to go for it. Like all of the actors so believed in the music, and I think that's part of what made it so powerful. And like, ooh, I love that movie so much. It's such a good soundtrack.
Yeah, I really love like what was the song where they were in the bar? I think The Other Side. I liked how the choreography was like timed really well with the music. I was like, oh, this is nice.
Oh,
But
so good.
so good, yeah. Mm.
My brother and I memorized that one, and we would sing it to each other in the car. It was so fun.
Oh, that's cute. I love that. I think the only other musical that I've really heard songs from is Dear Evan Hansen, but I've only heard like 2 of them.
I feel like I've heard one of those songs.
Which one did you hear? I want to know, because I think I know which one, but...
I have no idea. Like, I listen to Spotify, and it just will randomly play stuff for me sometimes, and it just randomly played one, and I was like, that's kind of cool, and then I just forgot to go back and listen to more.
I think like the most common one is the If I Could Tell Her song, because everyone uses that for like their AMVs and ship animatics or whatever, so I feel like everyone's heard that one. So...
Haven't. Honestly.
Really?
I think so.
I think
There's something about a window.
Oh, waving through a window. Love that one. That one's really good.
Probably.
Yeah, that one's super good. Love that one. I will sing that in the shower a lot, but yeah, when I'm feeling particularly angsty, I tend to sing that in the shower. But
okay, but like Ben Platt is in Dear Evan Hansen, right?
yeah, I think he's the main dude.
I like his music.
His voice
I've
is
been
really
listening to
pretty.
him. He sings so well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the first time I heard the song was a Miraculous freaking animatic. So that's
I need to
Oh,
watch
that's a
more
scoring
of
and a
that.
half.
Shut up.
Of AMVs. How many of you guys ended up getting music through Warrior AMVs and junk?
Oh, me. Particularly Bone Shatter is yeah.
That's where I ended up getting into Mother. Through like freaking Warrior AMVs. It was probably like Maple Shade related or something.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
No, it was Little Pistols for Blue Star.
I don't think I've heard that one.
I will have to send it. It's a good animatic.
I think also because they reminded me of what is that song? They did the whole like Dark Forest battle with this song from Tangled. I forget what it's called. Ready as I'll Ever Be.
Yeah, that one's good.
I was gonna say that the Tangled soundtrack is also really good. It's just love it. Like the show soundtrack. The movie soundtrack is also very good. Yeah, I really like Ready as I'll Ever Be, and I think a lot of Varian songs honestly are really good. Like those are the really strong ones. But also Cassandra's song is really good. And I project. I am projecting. So.
We've been new.
Shut.
You've had Cass as your freaking icon for I don't know how long.
No, I've literally, it was one point where I had her as my icon for a really long time, and then after that I've been like switching back and forth between icons of her and other people, but I always have her as an icon at some point. So, yeah, I'm projecting, it's fine. Also Stan Cassandra, Skiska, she's great, she's best.
Oh, that reminds me, I need a DM sit and tell her I'm gonna kill her with no context.
Yes. Oh, I have to go off about Kung Fu Panda because especially the second movie, I really love the soundtrack for the second movie. It is so good, and I just love it so much. It's so freaking good. Especially Rickshaw Chase, that one snatched me. And then Zen Ball Master was also really good. That one makes me like cry because I can like see the scene in my head when the music is playing. But
gosh, I'll be honest, I don't particularly super remember the music from Kung Fu Panda outside of like the main motif.
I'm gonna kill you.
Like it's good. It's just like
I'm gonna revoke your kneecaps.
I feel like the Kung Fu Panda scores are ones that, like, I forget to listen to, but every time I do, I'm like, why do I not listen to this more? Like,
they're so good.
It's mind-blowingly good.
Wait, okay. The one track that actually does super stand out to me, and it's because of the lore behind it's really interesting, is that Kai's theme from the third movie is actually based on Imagine Dragons' I'm So Sorry.
It is?
I was doing a little bit of digging, and I'm like, this sounds like that one song from Imagine Dragons, and they dug into it. Or I dug into it, and it turns out, at least I might be wrong here, this might be just the wiki lying to me or whatever, but apparently the Kai's track is based on I'm So Sorry.
Really? That makes sense, because I in the theater, I was like, this do be sounding kind of familiar, though. Right, I guess, if anyone has anything else to say before I end it, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I was literally just going to interrupt you and say that, but you said it, so okay.
Okay. But yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you to my lovely guests. If you want to support the studio, you can subscribe to this channel. You can follow us on various social media. Leave a comment, argue with us about our music taste, whatever. But we will see you again, hopefully next week or in a couple weeks. I don't know when these are being posted. So yeah, see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.